Japan's former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe died after being shot during a campaign speech in Nara on July 8. He was 67. Abe led Japan's right-wing Liberal Democratic Party for 2 terms, the first from 2006 to 2007 and the second from 2012 to 2020. His second term was the longest consecutive term for a Japanese Prime Minister. Want to know more about him? Stick till the end of the video. Hello and welcome to our channel, a daily dose of a world leader cocktail brought straight to you. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn the notification bell on. So without further ado, let's get straight into this. A little about Shinzo Abe. Shinzo Abe was a Japanese politician who was Prime Minister of Japan and President of the Liberal Democratic Party from 2006 to 2007. And again from 2012 to 2020. He held the record for the longest tenure as Prime Minister of Japan. Abe also served as Chief Cabinet Secretary under Junichiro Koizumi from 2005 to 2006 and was briefly opposition leader in 2012. He studied politics at Tokyo Seiki University and the University of Southern California before starting his career in business with Kobe Steel in 1979. 3 years later, he was appointed as an assistant to the foreign minister. At the age of 38, Abe was elected to Japan's House of Representatives for the first time in 1993. Throughout the 2000s, he held several cabinet positions before becoming the LDP's Secretary General in 2003. 4 years later, he was elected president of the party and became Prime Minister of Japan. Scandals and deteriorating health marred his first term, and he resigned as party leader and prime minister in 2007. After Abe's first term ended, there was a 5-year period in which 5 different men held the prime ministership until his re-election in 2012. He resigned in 2020, citing health issues. Abe will be remembered for increasing defense spending and implementing the most dramatic shift in Japanese military policy in 70 years. His government passed a reinterpretation of Japan's post-war pacifist constitution in 2015, allowing Japanese troops to engage in overseas combat with conditions, for the first time since World War II. Abe argued that the change was required to respond to a more challenging security environment, a nod to a more assertive China and North Korea's frequent missile tests. During his tenure, Abe worked to improve relations with Beijing, including a historic phone call with Chinese President Xi Jinping in 2018. At the same time, he attempted to counter Chinese expansion in the region by uniting Pacific allies. After leaving office, Abe remained the leader of the ruling LDP's largest faction and remained influential within the party. He continued campaigning for a stronger security policy and enraged China by calling on allies to make a greater commitment to defending democracy in Taiwan. In response, Beijing summoned Japan's ambassador, accusing Abe of openly challenging China's sovereignty. Diplomatic record. Abe was a well-known figure on the international stage. He strengthened ties with Washington, Tokyo's traditional ally, and attempted to establish a personal relationship with former US President Donald Trump, traveling to New York to meet the newly elected Republican president while former President Barack Obama was still in office. During Trump's first unofficial meeting with any world leader in 2016, Abe praised the US-Japan alliance and stated his desire to build trust with the new president. He backed Trump's initial tough stance on North Korea, which matched Abe's hawkish tendencies. But as the United States' relationship with Pyongyang shifted toward diplomacy, with both Trump and South Korean President Moon Jae-in holding historic summits with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, Abe appeared to be sidelined. There was no scheduled meeting between Abe and Kim, but the Japanese leader stated in September 2019 that he was still determined to meet him. Abe wanted to normalize relations with North Korea and de-escalate tensions on the Korean peninsula. But his first priority was to provide closure to the families of Japanese citizens abducted by North Korea in the 1970s and 1980s. Japan's relations with South Korea deteriorated during his presidency. Due to the legacy of World War II and Japan's brutal colonization of the Korean peninsula, the two countries were embroiled in a major dispute in which trade and military intelligence deals were scrapped. Olympic success and setback. Abe took office during economic turmoil and immediately revived Japan's economy after decades of stagnation. Soon after being re-elected prime minister in 2012, he embarked on a grand experiment known as Abenomics. It consisted of three arrows: massive monetary stimulus, increased government spending, and structural reforms. Abe's supporters praised the plan to revitalize the country's economy and increase consumer and investor confidence. However, after a strong start, it faltered, and in 2015, Abe launched three new arrows to boost GDP. Any hopes of them ever making it were dashed when COVID-19 swept through the country in 2020, sending Japan into recession. Securing the 2020 Tokyo Olympics was one of Abe's major domestic achievements. Abe delighted video game fans worldwide when he famously dressed up as Japanese icon Super Mario during the Rio Games closing ceremony in 2016, introducing Tokyo as the next host city. In an instantly meme-worthy segment, Abe emerged from a green pipe while the sounds of the Super Mario video game echoed around the Maracana studio, wearing an oversized red cap. The much-anticipated Tokyo Games, however, were ultimately undone by the COVID-19 pandemic, which forced the competition to be postponed until 2021. Japan's slow response to the coronavirus pandemic, which hit the country early in 2020, was partly attributed to an initial unwillingness to postpone the games. Months after the first cases were discovered, Abe declared a state of emergency. His administration was also chastised for a low testing rate and an early shortage of specialized medical equipment to treat the growing number of patients. Scandals and controversies. It was revealed in March 2018 that the Finance Ministry falsified documents presented to Parliament concerning the Moritomo Gakuen scandal to remove 14 passages implicating Abe. It has been suggested that the scandal could cost Abe his position as leader of the Liberal Democratic Party. The same year, Abe was accused of giving preferential treatment to his friend Kotarkake to open a veterinary department at his school, Kakegakuen. Abe denied the charges, but support for his administration dropped below 30% in polls, the lowest level since he took office in 2012. Former Prime Minister Junichiro Koizumi was among those who called for his resignation. Some referred to the scandal as Abegate. Throughout his political career, Abe frequently engaged in historical negationism, particularly regarding Japanese war crimes during World War II. Some critics claim he harmed relations between Japan and South Korea. Abe had led the Society for History textbook reform since 1997, when he was the bureau chief of the Institute of Junior Assembly Members who think about Japan's outlook and history education. Nippon Kaigi, an ultra-conservative revisionist organization, was affiliated with Abe. He denied reporters in 2007 that Japan forced women into sexual slavery during World War II. He questioned the extent to which coercion was used against the comfort women on his official homepage, dismissing South Korean positions on the issue as foreign interference in Japanese domestic affairs. In a Diet session on October 6, 2006, Abe revised his statement about comfort women, saying that he accepted a report issued in 1993 by the sitting cabinet secretary, Yi Knu, in which the Japanese government officially acknowledged the issue. Later in the session, Abe stated that Class A war criminals were not criminals under Japanese domestic law. Assassination. Abe was shot while delivering a campaign speech in Nara on July 8, 2022. He was campaigning for fellow LDP member Kay Sat in the House of Councilors election. The assassin fired 2 shots from a homemade firearm, the first of which missed and caused Abe to turn around, at which point a second shot was fired, striking Abe in the neck and chest area. He was fatally struck in the heart. Tetsuya Yamagami, a 41-year-old former JMSDF sailor who served for 3 years from 2002 to 2005, was arrested after the shooting and later confessed to local police. Yamagami stated that he was enraged by the Unification Church and shot Abe because he believed the religious group and Abe were linked. Yamagami expressed resentment that his mother was brainwashed by the religious group and went bankrupt. He also claimed that he assassinated Abe because he believed the former prime minister was the one who brought the religion to Japan. Yamagami stated that he had no ill will toward Abe's political beliefs. Abe was rushed to Kashihara's Nara Medical University Hospital, where he was announced dead at 17:03 JST. Abe had already displayed no vital signs before he arrived at the hospital. Despite a blood transfusion of 100 units, the blood loss was just too much and any attempts to resuscitate Abe were futile. At the time of his death, he was 67 years old. Following the shooting and his subsequent death, numerous current and former world leaders expressed their condolences and support for Abe. His body was returned to Tokyo the next day, and his funeral was held on July 12, 2022. In Japan, where handguns are prohibited, gun violence is extremely rare, and political violence is almost unheard of. Yet again, violence has no boundaries. There will always be someone who may disagree with your ideologies, and your life is in danger if they get crazy enough. That is just how it is these days. People want to shove their beliefs down people's throats. His party has won the elections in Japan. Would you regard Abe as the reason behind this victory? Let us know in the comments section. That's all for today. We will see you in the next video.